On this episode of Lapeef Let's Talk, you have to then hold them to the same level of accountability as you hold men. You can't have it one way without having it the other way. You can't have the good without the bad. And so I think that boundaries should be put on emotions largely across the board, simply because women have advocated for this and advocated to be competing with men. But men by default need to control their emotions as far as not letting that be the thing that they lead with in order to make a decision, because it doesn't lead to good consequences as a result of it. So,
okay. Rilla, what about you? Should boundaries be put on emotions?
Hey man, listen, the time that I've been up here, I'm probably one of the living examples of why boundaries should be put on emotions, right? So the times that I've been up here, and I can distinguish, those moments where I've been passionate, but I can also admit to, certain conversations where I didn't stand on my square. I didn't stand on the argument and I got emotional. Okay, I was about to choke the shit out of you, man.
Please just go.
Look at their face.
Okay.
You keep saying everything but what you got to say.
I'm trying.
Hey, come on.
Get to it.
Okay. Anton, again, when you were talking to Kayla and she was giving her scenario.
Don't laugh in between your. Go ahead. Don't say, just go ahead.
So when Kayla was giving her scenario and you were giving yours, was your point that, because you kept saying, like, didn't you say a good man or something like that? Were you saying that a good man would not be in a situation or be doing that activity where he is going back and forth about regular everyday things? Because Kayla's point was about regular everyday things.
My point was that I don't think that y'all even know what a good man looked like to even be able to have a conversation about what a good man is and whether or not he would be in that situation. That's what my point is.
Okay, thanks. JR, go to the next one.
Okay, thank you. You guys just tune in. Welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. Make sure you guys hit them likes up. Also, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button.
JR, I can't believe you try to come at me. I have been on.
I'm trying to. Hey, come on.
You yelled at me like a father.
Keep playing.
I took me all day to write this speech. Okay?
He said, "Just go ahead and answer." JR.
I don't know why y'all women had those extra voices. What is that shit? I didn't start hearing this shit until this year. Y'all talk regular and then y'all get know what I mean. What the fuck is that shit?
I practice that.
I've never seen that until on here. I've never seen.
Hey, JR in daddy mode right now. You gonna beat your ass, okay?
I've been on the phone with JR and he's been talking to his kids, and that's why I said daddy mode, because I've heard him talk to his kids that way. Don't talk to me like that, JR.
I'm a son you. That's what's gonna happen.
I son you.
I just said you gonna beat your ass.
You are hilarious. It's so funny.
Okay. You guys just tuning in. Welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. Make sure you guys get them likes up. Also subscribe to the channel. Moving on to our last and final topic before we open up the phone lines. Memberships are open. Shout out to the new member that just joined. You make sure you keep. I hit up StreamYard about that mute button too. I hit them up and they responded.
Did they?
They responded. Yeah, I got 2 responses from 2 different people saying that they forwarded it about a master mute button. A master mute button.
CK, your ass out of here.
A master mute button so that you are not allowed to unmute once I mute. So I'm hoping they'll get back to me, man. Surprisingly, they responded back to me. It took them a day and a half. To be continued. So if you hit that mute button and you can't unmute, then you know it's been taken care of. I ain't gonna even announce it. I'm just gonna have it in play.
Hey, are you?
I was on the phone. Okay, I wasn't talking to you.
What?
All right, moving on to our final topic again. Phone lines will be open up shortly, so make sure you guys refresh the browsers. I'm still gonna put it in the chat. Should boundaries be put on emotions?
Oh, great topic. Look at God.
Emotions?
Look at God working out everything tonight. God said we're gonna put it on the table and we're gonna get it all the way out there tonight.
All right, I'm gonna start with you, Anton, on this one. Should boundaries be put on emotions?
Only when it comes to women. No, I'm just kidding. Let me stop. Look at y'all. Look at Kay. Kay already. That's the first thing she did. Kay, just relax, baby.
Anton, I'm gonna send you a ton of pictures from the day I was born. I've been doing that thing my whole life. It has nothing to do with you.
Oh, you said you've been doing it since you've been born. The same
Yes.
facial expression?
About him. Just
I will send you a picture of the day.
Okay, send it to me right now so I can post it right now so I can show everybody else. Send it to me right now.
So let me answer the question so we can get to our callers. Should boundaries be put on emotions? And I think that they should, simply because often at times people they let their emotions get the best of them, I believe. And they start to lead with that when it comes to making decisions. And I think largely I try to, and I advise guys often. I actually think that it applies to guys more than it applies to women. Simply because I don't think that, society is unforgiving when it comes to men. Women have a lot more leeway to do certain things. We can even see women hit men and get away with it, but let a guy do a certain type of thing and he getting locked up for the next 3 days just to make sure that he cool off by default. But I believe that boundaries should be put on emotions for men, because I don't think that men can afford to lead with their emotions when it comes to them being able to make certain decisions. I think boundaries should also be put on women, but I think that it's going to be harder to put that genie back in the bottle because women have largely been able to get away with a lot more than men have since the beginning of time, or at least since my existence on this earth. And it's largely just because they've always leaned on the idea that they're the weaker vessel and all of this other type of stuff. But the problem with that now, and they could get away with that back in the day because it made sense. They were in a position to be the weaker vessel. They didn't have the ability to vote. They had to largely be subjected to their husbands and all of this other type of stuff. But now when you're talking about 2021 and going into 2022, when women have largely advocated for equal rights and you have feminism and you got all of these other type of things, you have to then hold them to the same level of accountability as you hold men. You can't have it one way without having it the other way. You can't have the good without the bad. And so I think that boundaries should be put on emotions largely across the board, simply because women have advocated for this and advocated to be competing with men. But men by default need to control their emotions as far as not letting that be the thing that they lead with in order to make a decision, because it doesn't lead to good consequences as a result of it. So,
okay. Rilla, what about you? Should boundaries be put on emotions?
Hey man, listen, the time that I've been up here, I'm probably one of the living examples of why boundaries should be put on emotions, right? So the times that I've been up here, and I could distinguish, those moments where I've been passionate, but I can also admit to, certain conversations where I didn't stand on my square. I didn't stand on the argument and I got emotional. Okay, I was about to choke the shit out of you, man.